Hello and welcome to another audio analysis. In today's video we're taking a look at the track Childhood Eyes by the American pop-punk band Yellowcard. This is the band's first new single in over 7 years since they released their 10th studio album, their self-titled Yellowcard, in 2016, and the band after that would then go on hiatus, go on to work on different projects, take care of families and things like that, and they did actually recently reunite and actually performed their album Ocean Avenue in full at Slam Dunk Festival this past weekend. At the same time, they also made the announcement of a new single which has landed today, as well as a 5-track EP of the same name which will be landing in July. Despite the band being away for a number of years, their name still holds a lot of weight for those people that loved that pop-punk sound of the early 2000s. Their 2003 album Ocean Avenue certainly had some incredible tracks on it, with tracks such as Ocean Avenue, Way Away, Breathing, Only One and many, many more. So will this latest track be as energetic as a child or as brittle as a pensioner? Let's take a look at exactly how it sounds.
I found my childhood eyes. Am I the only one who ever wonders why love leaves me empty every time? Am I the only one who isn't dead inside? Maybe you're jaded, maybe you're blind. Am I the only one watching with childhood eyes?
Okay, already I'm loving this slightly more modern sound to some of their older material. You can see it's almost like a blending of old and new styles that we're getting already on this track. And this idea of I found my childhood eyes. Already I'm getting this idea this is going to be about seeing the world in a different perspective. Kids often don't have the same judgmental abilities that an adult does because they're still growing, they're still developing. So this idea of love leaves me empty at every empty time, this idea of kind of losing a partner and how to feel, but then seeing the world in a new light. You're the only one who isn't dead inside because you're seeing through these childhood eyes. You're seeing through this kind of blank open canvas that the world can be. This idea of maybe you're jaded, maybe you're blind. Am I the only one watching with childhood eyes? So kind of like feel like you're the only person that's seeing the world in a different way to a lot of other people.
I'm all alone at the altar now. I've got an atheist heart. You swept it under the rug and bailed. Yeah, you're a real work of art. If only I was the drug you did, stuck in a vein in your arm, then maybe you would have stuck around, just like the addict you are. I found my childhood eyes. Am I the only one who ever wonders why love leaves me empty every time? Am I the only one who isn't dead inside? Maybe you're jaded, maybe you're blind. Am I the only one watching with childhood eyes?
I really like how with the verse it goes into this perspective of this deceit, this kind of defeatist attitude. I'm all alone at the altar now. I've got an atheist heart. I've lost belief. You swept it under the rug and bailed. So this idea of being deceived, kind of let down, this defeatist attitude that is coming through. And then we go into the chorus, which is much lighter, much kind of more upbeat, as William Ryan Key does come in with these sort of higher tenor vocals that really just kind of add a bit more power to the actual chorus, really give it that vibrant kind of feeling of life, like he's seeing the world in a new perspective, really just finding those childhood eyes and starting to sort of see things in a more positive way.
I'm all alone in an ocean now, and you're a light on the shore. I know you think you can hold your breath until I sink to the floor. But if you're trying to wait this out, you're gonna do it alone. There's gotta be something more than this, some other truth I can know.
So I like how with the second verse we're starting to see that gradual progression kind of moving away in the verses from that slightly more kind of let down, feeling alone. I'm all alone in the ocean now and you're a light on the shore. So you have this guiding light, but you're kind of sinking. You're just watching them kind of be this false hope, this false light to guide you, but you're kind of sinking, you're drowning, and you're kind of trying to wait this idea out, this idea of going things alone as well. So we do get a bit of an interesting mix between the I and you that kind of does sort of dance too much between the two, where it can get a little bit lost lost at times. There's got to be something more than this, some other truth I can know. So really kind of flipping the script, really showing that we'd seen this development into this different view on the world, rather than just focusing solely on the negative and then the positive between the verse and the chorus. We actually start to see that kind of that happiness and that small positive perspective really bleed into the verses.
I found my childhood eyes. Am I the only one who ever wonders why love leaves me empty every time? Am I the only one who isn't dead inside? Maybe you're cheated, maybe you're blind. Am I the only one watching with childhood eyes? Watching with childhood eyes.
I'm really enjoying the strong pace we're getting from the drums being brought through on this track. It really gives it this strong, energetic pace. It's something we did see a lot of their early music in their discography do, but they've certainly modernised it, kind of brought it towards present day. It does have that slightly more light rock feel to it, rather than kind of focusing more on the kind of pure pop punk. So they've still got that drive behind it, but it certainly has a much more mature sound to what's actually being brought across, kind of still touching on a more serious message, rather than focusing on the idea of kind of love and things like that we saw with this kind of teenager angst that we saw on Ocean Avenue, their biggest album. We're kind of seeing this development in life and kind of looking back and going through difficulties in life and then kind of having that improved perspective on things as you do kind of mature as a person. Well, that certainly was a very impressive first track from the band that we have got to hear in quite some time. I really did enjoy that mature, kind of pacey energy, that punch that it did deliver, and we could see that it really focused on this idea of kind of when you're being defeated or people are deceiving you or kind of letting you down, just having that positive perspective on the world. But I like how there's also a couple of other messages that could really be drawn from it. William Reinke is actually expecting his first child sometime soon, so it could be this idea of kind of seeing the world in a different way with him having a child, and the way seeing through these childhood eyes, really just having a different perspective on the world as he becomes a father. So that could be certainly another element to this actual track. And it could also touch on the idea of kind of looking after the young people in today's world. They're kind of going through being raised in a time where things are advancing very, very quickly, and a lot of change at one time can be very difficult. So trying to see from a younger generation's perspective and the challenges they are facing today. So there's so many different ways you can really look at this track depending on which way you want to draw from it, but there's so many kind of messages that can really be there. But I do feel there's a lot more focus towards this idea of having this defeatist attitude and certainly maintaining positive, being quite creative in a world that's trying to kind of tear you apart almost. And I really like this new styling that they've gone for with their music, this much more mature sound, and I'm really curious to see how their guest appearances are going to work on this EP. I know they're working with Vic Fuentes from Pierce the Veil, and they've also got Chris Carrabba from Dashboard Confessional, also providing some guest slots on this upcoming EP, so two of the tracks will be featuring them, so it'll be interesting to see how they do integrate them, but certainly just a great return to form for the band. They've always been one that's put out relatively strong tracks, despite not having the same power and success they did see with Ocean Avenue. Many of their songs still have this very energetic and light feel, and I'm glad to see that despite the slightly darker messaging included on this track, they still keep it energetic, keep it very light, and kind of draw these strong messages that are really delivered in a stronger way because of the slightly higher key that William Reinke does tend to sing in, and having that much softer vocal tone. So that'll be everything for today's video, but as always, feel free to let me know your thoughts about this new Yellowcard track in the comments section below. Do you think it lives up to some of their earlier works? Are you glad to see the band making a return? I know I certainly am, and I'm maybe slightly biased from getting to hear them play Ocean Avenue in full at the weekend. It certainly was just a great thing to behold, to hear all the deep cuts from that particular album, and I am really excited to hear this EP in full. Also, if you would like to see more content like this, then please do feel free to subscribe, and I will see you in the next audio analysis.